how to become a doll collector or how to start doll collecting, there's only one rule. Now, I think I paid around $5,000 or $6,000 for the pair. Would I have paid more? Yeah. Like if I was locked in here for 3 years, what would I do with myself? Hello, welcome back to my channel, and a special welcome if you're new here. My name is Rachel Hoffman and I own and operate Turn of the Century Antiques, which is a doll shop out here in Denver, Colorado, and we love doing doll things and putting them on the internet. If you clicked on this video, then you might be beginning in your doll collecting journey because you may have Googled tips for starting a doll collection, how to start a doll collection, what do I need to do to start a doll collection? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. It's going to be lighthearted. I'm going to give you some of my tips, and then you can go off and running with starting your journey in dolls. And stay here on this channel too if you're new to this channel, because that's what we do here, doll stuff all the time, and we love to do it. Sometimes we do other things, but they're not as popular. So we try to stick to dolls. First, let's just go ahead and dive right in and let me know in the comments where you are on your journey. Are you just starting? Have you been with us for years and you have a collection? What do you collect? I'd love to know about your collecting journey and where you are with that, and just put in the comments what you collect. It's so fun to read each other's comments in the community, because then that gives an opportunity for you to connect with other people that maybe you have similar interests and just to get to know each other. So the first thing for how to become a doll collector or how to start doll collecting, there's only one rule in my book, and that is a love of dolls. A love of dolls is how you begin your journey as a doll collector. You might hear people say you have to have a certain amount of dolls to equal a collection, or you have this or you need that or whatever. I really do think that the love of dolls is how you become a collector. I have met people that know so much about a certain type of doll and they don't even own one for a lot of reasons. Maybe they're really expensive and they can't buy one right now, but they love them and they learn so much. To me, that's a doll collector, because you're collecting knowledge, you're collecting the dolls in your heart. So if you have a love of dolls, that's where you start. Don't worry about your age. If you're 95 or 105 and you're watching this video, you can start being a doll collector. If you're young, if you're male, if you're female, no matter what it is, no matter what your background is, no matter what baggage you got coming with you that is starting to get in your head thinking, oh, this or that, anything that's holding you back from doll collecting, just answer one question: do I love them? Do I love them? Do I love learning about them? Do I love looking at them? Do I love so many things about them? So that's the first one. And also, as I go along, this is just kind of a fun video, but I'd love to know what your tips are as well. So put them in the comments. If I was gonna do all my tips about doll collecting, this video would probably be 3.5 to 4 hours long. So we're gonna niche down to different subjects, but this is kind of a broad one. Once you figure out that you wanna be a doll collector, the next thing to do is thinking, what kind of dolls do I want to collect? That can be answered for a multitude of reasons. It can be a wide subject, a small subject. You really have to think about that. Now, a lot of doll collectors, and let me know if this is you like everything, so you collect a little bit of everything. But sometimes people like to collect a certain type of doll, like a bride doll, or Alice in Wonderland, or wooden dolls, or teddy bears, and they have a certain type. But that's one thing that you really need to think about when you get started. Now, one of my biggest tips for when you get started doll collecting is don't buy everything. Now, you might think, well, she owns a doll shop, why would she be saying that? Let me know if this has happened to you, because this has happened to me. But when you get started, sometimes you feel super passionate and you're really, really, really excited. And I've done this. I think we've all done this. And then we realize it later, like, oops, dang, but we buy everything. And we get so much, and then it becomes so much, and then it becomes overwhelming. So don't go too crazy. Take your time a little bit when you get started, and don't think you have to have everything. Now let's talk about certain types of dolls so you can kind of think about where you might want to go in your collecting. We're going to show you some of our little collections here just for fun, and then we're going to talk about them. So as we start to think about our doll collecting and how much we want to collect and where we're going to do it and how we're going to do it, one of the biggest questions that you need to answer is, how am I going to display them? Now, a lot of us have room in our house, but some of us don't have a lot of room. So you have to think about your collection and what you really want with how to display them and where to display them, because let's face it, they take up a lot of space. There's a lot of ways to display dolls. IKEA actually has these doll cases. I forget what they're called. They're not actual doll cases, but a lot of people love them for displaying dolls. And if you know what they are, put them in the comments, but they're pretty affordable actually. You can go on Facebook Marketplace, you can go on Craigslist, you can go on so many places, and people are giving away a lot of display cabinets and curio cabinets because they don't like the way they look, but they make fabulous doll cases. But so think about how you want to display them and where that's going to happen, because if you start getting a lot of dolls, that can become a thing. Now, Stanley's filming right now and there's stuff on the floor because we are preparing. If you hear crunching, that's what it is. We are preparing for our next mix and match sale, and there's sweaters, doll sweaters all over the floor. So a lot of people, and let me know if this is you, sometimes you can settle into, I want to collect a certain type of doll based off of the material. The dolls in this case, these are all made by Madame Alexander, and except for the small ones, they're all made out of a material called composition. And we can get into in future videos what exactly is composition, the different dolls that are made out of composition. I was thinking of doing that. I thought that'd be kind of fun, and also to do it with bisque, but I want Linda here so we can really talk about bisque because she knows a lot about that. But this is just an example of how my mom, over a period of decades, amassed this incredible collection. Now, when you see things online or in books or in pictures or just in posts, sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming where you think, well, I don't have that, so like, why even start? It's important to know that a collection like this and some of the finest collections that you will ever see, that you may see wherever, were usually amassed over a period of decades. They don't just happen overnight. So don't let anything like that deter you, because I promise you, dolls come up. They appear in your life, especially when you're supposed to have them. I can't even explain the science behind it, but if you are manifesting dolls to come into your life, you never know where they're going to come up. So never, never, never give up, and don't get discouraged because you see something like incredible that might feel like it's unattainable. My mom put a lot of focus and a ton of money where she worked really hard to save the money to buy these dolls. But this is an example. So we have a type, as in the material of composition, or we have a brand, which is Madame Alexander. We could do videos on Madame Alexander for days, but we have a full video on this collection. These are all Madame Alexander, but this is a fun type of doll to collect. Now, there are millions and millions of brand names and different types of dolls. So if you are looking and you start to gravitate to something, that's your gut telling you that you're on the right path. So with my personal collecting and what I like, I gravitate towards certain types. I can't even tell you exactly why. There's a lot of different reasons why they speak to me, and you don't have to have an exact reason why. You can just like it, and that's reason enough. So let's go look at a couple more types of dolls, and I hope you enjoyed seeing these. My next tip is coming from friend to friend, enabler to enabler. This is a big one, and I have learned from experience, and I'm probably guessing if you are a seasoned doll collector and you've been doing this for a while, you probably learned this the hard way. But when you find something that is a bucket list doll, or something that you just have wanted for a really long time, or that is an amazing piece that just feels like a miracle out of the sky, don't wait. And don't wait for the best deal. Now that you might be like, what? But I should always try and get the best deal. The thing is, sometimes you're gonna have to pay a little bit more, sometimes a lot a bit more to get what you want, but then that's the payoff. That's the payoff, is that you get what you want and you get to enjoy it. One of the things that I talk about a lot is that if you are collecting dolls, if you are doing this as a hobby, but your end goal is to make money, that's the wrong reason to be collecting. Dolls go up, they go down. We as collectors, if you're collecting something, you have to love it from the heart. And try to remain pretty much unattached to the monetary value. I have seen dolls go way up and then way down and then come back and then go down and then go up and then go down. A lot of the dolls that we have here that my mom has in her personal collection, she's had for decades, and they've gone up and they've gone down. If it was based off of what they were selling for, like the stock market or something, I'd be a mess. I'd be a wreck, and I'd be worried about it all the time. So try not to worry about it. Try to detach yourself. Sometimes we have to pay a lot to get what we want. Here's an example. My Raggedy Anns, which are my wonderful, huge store display, oversized Raggedy Anns. I have shown these in videos. We've talked about them with our wonderful Jonathan Green. These dolls are so rare. They made the oversized Raggedy Anns, and then Jonathan said that they made around 110 sets of the super oversized ones, which are these ones. When I saw these come up on eBay, it's really hard to put a price on them of how much they could possibly be worth because they're so exceedingly rare. But I'm just going to tell you, I put in a really high bid because I wanted them. Now, I think I paid around $5,000 or $6,000 for the pair. Would I have paid more? Yeah. Would it have been fun to get them for less? Of course. But I am so glad I got them. I'll never regret this. Never. So if a doll or a set of dolls or something like that comes up for you, this is where the rainy day money comes in, the cash under your bed. This is where you cash in your stocks and your bonds if you can. I'm just kidding, but not really. If you have extra money and it's something you've been wanting for a really long time, I'm just saying, don't wait, because sometimes those opportunities pass you by and then you don't see something like that sometimes ever again or for decades. And the mental anguish of thinking about it usually outweighs having to pay 50% more or even 100% more, or whatever it is more. I don't know how much these are worth, but I have got my money out of the sheer enjoyment of them. So that's what they're worth to me. However I get out of here, what I'm saying is, if I'm in charge and if someday these dolls sell to somebody that loves them for a fraction of the price, it is what it is. If you can get to a place like that where you just enjoy them for the love of enjoying them, it becomes a lot more fun because a lot of the pressure is taken off. So I hope that that's a helpful hint. And I'm not just coming to you because it can be a kind of a weird space to be giving advice as somebody that's also in the doll industry, as a person that's selling them. But this is what I would tell any friend, whether I was involved or not, because the doll industry is, if you're trying to do it to make a living, it's not an easy industry to be in. I do this because I love it. Stanley and I love our jobs, and we don't want to get other jobs, and we love talking and being with you. So that's our biggest motivation here, and because it's so fun. I really can't think of another job that is more fun. So at this shop, we continue to work to honor the legacy of our very dear people that we love very much, which for us, there's three right now, and that is my mom, Diane Hoffman. It is Stanley's wife, Pam Strawn, and our wonderful Jonathan Green. We love coming to work. It's fun to connect with you and to talk. So that was a little bit of an aside, but let's go talk about and look at a couple more dolls, and then we'll be done with this video. Another one of my big tips, which I am so guilty of this, is relying too much on the internet. Now, I run my business through the internet. You and me met through the internet. It's very tempting to want to answer all your questions through the internet. And I do this all the time. Google is your friend. Believe me, Google is your friend. You can answer pretty much any doll question for the most part through the internet. But if you want to answer it really super duper well, get yourself a couple books. Research and books are your friend. Now, books, they've lost a little bit of popularity, I think, due to the fact of the internet, and it is a shame, and it is such an opportunity for you to get them. They sell on eBay, they sell at estate sales, they sell at doll shows for sometimes just $1 or $2. You can find them at thrift stores a lot of the time, and some of them are incredible. Now, some of them you're gonna open and you're gonna be like, who wrote this? What is this? Not all books are necessarily even true or right, but a lot of them are. So we're gonna go off-roading. It's been a while since we've gone off-roading, and when we go off-roading in the doll shop, it can get a little bumpy, it can get a little scary. There's no telling what can happen back there. So when we go off-roading in the doll shop, which is anywhere beyond up here where it's put together and pretty, we have house rules. Just one rule actually. And that rule is to keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. We're just gonna let that phone ring. I don't know if you can hear it because we got some off-roading to do. Keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times. It's for your safety and the safety of our performers. Let's go. This might feel a little out of control to you, but it's actually not. We are completely organized. I know exactly where everything is. And this is not satire. Like I really, really do. We have a spot for everything and it's really not bad. This is a lot of our wonderful Tonner dolls that are getting dressed and coming out. When we redo our displays, we're constantly refreshing it and redoing it and stuff. But I don't know if we've shown you, but I was just doing this today. We are incredibly blessed to have books on everything. And some of the books are so good. Now, that could be a video in itself. If you'd like to see that video, we can do a video on our top recommendations for books of different genres. So here's an example, the Kromholtz books. If you see anything by Kromholtz, Krombholz, if you like China type dolls, incredible books. So good. Anything by Coleman, good books. And we're not just talking antiques too. There's books, it's kind of harder to find books on like modern dolls, but anything up to the 70s and 80s, you can usually find books on. So Barbie, Madame Alexander, different types of Madame Alexander, wood dolls, wax dolls, snow babies, every single type of doll, there's a book. And look, this might not have every answer in it, but look at this. This was probably, you could probably find this for like 50 cents on the internet or something and learn a lot about doll repair. Yeah, it has a lot of pictures. I was just actually thinking to myself that if I took the time, like if I was locked in here for 3 years, what would I do with myself? I'd learn everything in these books, which I could do. If I knew all the stuff in these books, I would be like a wizard. I would know so much, but it takes time and you have to apply yourself and you have to actually take the time. But it's amazing when you read something, how much you can retain and then you know it the next time. So books. Another thing is one of my biggest tips and one of the ways that I built my brand and my presence and what I do is through acceptance and through community. So find your tribe, find your people that accept and love you for who you are and what you want to do with your life and what you want to put your time and effort and energy and money into. Whether they love it themselves or not, you want to be with people that are encouraging to you. Sometimes we don't have that option. Sometimes we have people in our family that put up roadblocks or people that we can't just unfriend on Facebook that give us problems, and that's a whole nother ball of wax, and there are certain ways to deal with that. But know your truth. Know your truth inside your heart of what you love to do, and don't let anyone take that from you. Don't let anyone take that from you, because there are millions and millions and millions of people literally out there that love what you love and you just don't know them, but they're out there, kind of like stars. So if you can connect yourself with some of these people, be it on Facebook groups, on chats, it's not all online. Look and see if there is a local doll club, or if your local library is doing something, or maybe you can do something. If there is a doll show in your area, always go to the doll show. Always go to the doll show. Never not go to the doll show. Even if it's not in your area, if you have the means and the time and the energy to get in the car, hop on a plane and go and do the thing, do the thing. You'll never, never regret it. It's kind of like working out or going for a walk. You're, oh, I don't want to do that today sometimes, but you never regret it. So find your tribe, subscribe to people on YouTube that are doll collectors. There's tons of us out there, a lot of really good channels, and maybe try subscribing to people also that don't necessarily collect or do exactly what you do, but they're still a doll collector and it's fun and you might enjoy their content. So we're ending back here because we're still doing doll stuff. Oh, this is a Simon and Helbig 949. Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. See, I get very easily distracted, but this is what Stanley was working on. Mm-hmm. This is what you were working on to... Right, I was restringing. Restring, okay. This is going to be so wonderful when she's done. Can you imagine? Like, sometimes I forget that we have certain things. Redress. Oh, we have to dress. Okay. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I have, even if I didn't want to have a doll shop, I don't want that, I want to have a doll shop, but even if I didn't, it would probably take me, how long would it take us, Stanley? 5 years?
Easily.
Easily 5 years to get through everything that we have here and to list it online and do what we need to do. We're in it for the long haul. I'm always just gonna be putting out fun content and encouraging you. This is the little EJ that we got yesterday, little size 6, and encouraging you to find your truth, to enjoy doll collecting. Don't worry about anything else. Block out all the noise, have fun with it, and if you're new here and you're just thinking about it and you're just getting started, keep going. Tell me about what you bought in the comments. Tell me what's next for you, because I really love hearing about it. So I hope that you enjoyed this chat, and I want to thank you for hanging out with us in our doll shop today. And I'd like to thank our overhead lighting for probably making it look a little nuts right now, but it's all right. We come as we are. That's right. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Bye.